Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lucy Davis, and have we had one of the best weekends going where weather is concerned? Apparently, it was so hot, there were weather warnings and all sorts of things, but to be honest, it just felt like being back a child again, right? Actually having nice, hot, sunny days and really beautiful summers. So as you're jumping on, please do smash the love heart for me. Hit the thumbs up if you are. I can't remember which way it is. I think the thumb up is on YouTube. And please do let me know that you can hear me okay. Please also, maybe I should bring my microphone a little bit closer to me. Please do also let me know where from around the world you are as you are jumping on, because who knows, your brand new bestie might be watching this video at the same time as you. And you know, I love you guys to use my communities, use my platforms for you guys to connect. It is a really important piece of what I do. And I would really like you to all make friends with people who are on the same mission as you. Hello, Hayley Middleton. I hope you're well. I'm going to have to call you Hayley Wells. You need to change your name. Simple as that. You need to change your name. And Derek, my love, it's good to have you on. I can see there's lots of other people on as well, but nobody's brave enough to share their names with me. Hi, Tracy from West Sussex. Glad you can hear me okay there. Hello, beautiful Marilyn in Orkney for the Island Games, and the vibrations are high. Now, I remember it's got to be, 3 years ago now that I was up in the Orkneys, and I remember how absolutely stunning it was for the period of time that we were there. So I am so happy that you have got a beautiful day up there. If you have never been to Scotland, ladies and gents, go. Sorry to the Scottish people watching this, but it's the truth. That land is so beautiful. It's so powerful. We are going to learn a lot more about that going forwards. We talk about it a lot in my Conscious Conversations community. It is absolutely stunning. No matter where you live around the world, you must go to Scotland. Now, we all know that it is quite rainy and can be quite grey up there. However, I've obviously been really lucky, because whenever I go there, it tends to be really beautiful and sunny. Even when I went there for my birthday, my 30th birthday, it was freezing cold, but beautiful blue skies the whole time when I was horse riding, when I was in my castle, you know, all of that good stuff. So yeah, if you have not been to Scotland, get yourselves there. It is the most beautiful place that you could possibly imagine. And like I say, all of the information about Scotland will be unfolding super soon. So today we're going to be talking all about our bullshit stories. You know, the stories that we convince ourselves of. You know, I would actually really like to get a big heck yes from you if you are ready to get super real with yourself today. Are you actually ready for this? Are you actually really going to put those big girl and big boy pants on and actually truly look at yourself deeply from a new perspective? We're going to take the rose tinted glasses off. We're going to stamp on them a little bit. My eyes are starting to go blurry, so I might have to put my glasses on in a minute. I don't know what's going on. I get to a certain point in the day and my eyes start to go blurry. Hence, I've got these glasses on my head. So before we get into that, though, before we get into being really real with ourselves, being really honest, calling ourselves out on our stuff, oh yes, heck yes, come on, I'm glad that you're ready for it. You should know this by now. Whenever you come and join me on this channel, you know that you're going to need your big boy and big girl pants on to really face up to you in a way that you never have done before. Okay, so just before we do that, did everybody have an amazing weekend? Yeah, did all of you? Like, I feel like I haven't had a good chance to chat with you guys recently. So did you have an amazing time? How are you feeling? How are you feeling under these energies? Are you ready for the week ahead? Did you go and watch my Shattering the Illusion video that I put out a few days ago? I can't even remember when it was, but a few days ago. Like, let me know. I would like lots and lots of chat today. I want us to really break the internet by chatting today. I want you to be super honest with me. I would like you to be talking to me about stuff. I want to be talking to you about stuff. Let's make this a really interactive session whereby we can come together and really, hopefully, fingers crossed, shift things. Louise, absolutely. The energies have been so wild. It is absolutely unbelievable. Now, what's fascinating is I actually spent best part of Saturday on the beach, like with my feet in the sand and in the ocean. And I felt so much better for it until about 5 o'clock in the evening. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I got that whole like woozy kind of dizzy kind of feeling that came over me. So it's very, very, very interesting what is going on right now. Peg, if you can drop me an email to support@lucydavis.com, I will be able to help you with that question. I'm going to remove it from this video though, but please, Lizzie, can you just do me a massive favor and just pop in the email address? And Peg, I'm removing it just because YouTube will ban me for those 2 words that you put. So please email support@lucydavis.com. Lizzie will type it on here for you so that you can just copy and paste it. Send me an email and I can absolutely help you without any question, my darling. Okay. And of course we will help your brother. Not a problem at all. I love the fact I'm just like, I see the words and I'm like, shit, YouTube don't like me at the best of times at the moment because I'm looking to heal the world and help them. But Peg, please don't be offended by that. No, you don't need to be offended by it and you don't need to apologize. I saw it. Drop me an email. We can absolutely help you without any shadow of a doubt on that. To those of you on Facebook thinking, what on earth is Lucy talking about right now? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Peg's just asked for some help. I can help her with that. It's just YouTube wouldn't like what she's asking for help with. So yeah, we've got it sorted on YouTube. Anyway, this is why YouTube, whichever platform you're not on, I will do my best to communicate what is going on both sides of the fence. So I know we are in very, very interesting times right now. So all I'm asking you to do is just be very patient with yourself. We're in buoyant waters is the best way to explain it. I don't know about where you guys are in the UK, but where I am today, it's like blowing a hoolie. It's a beautiful day out there. It's blue skies. It is glorious sunshine, but it is like blowing a hoolie. And what is very interesting with this is where I live last night, there was actually a fire here in the New Forest. And, you know, it wasn't too close to me. And, you know, the New Forest is a big area. But the point is, a fire was started in the New Forest last night. Now, for those of you on Conscious Conversations, we're going to go dig into that a little bit this evening because there is an energetic reason that it's happening, believe it or not. I feel a bit weird saying that because obviously wildlife and stuff. However, I believe all of the horses, the cows, that the animals are safe. Obviously, I can't say the same for the spiders and the lizards and those kind of things. So later on this evening, I am going to do a bit of a healing session with my team and probably my Conscious Conversations community to just send some healing to the land. If you know anything or if you're keeping an eye on things, you'll see that there are a lot of fires all over the world right now. And there are also a lot of volcanoes erupting and a lot of earthquakes. This is typical of what I actually predicted for this month. So again, if you haven't watched the July energy update, please do go and check that out. It will give you some information to support why you are feeling the way that you are feeling right now. Okay, the other thing that I'd also like to acknowledge is the plane crash that took place in Essex. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I just hope that everybody is okay and everybody is safe. Now, obviously, I'm going to suggest that the pilot probably is not okay because it went up in flames, but I hope everybody else in the area and, you know, it didn't impact too many people. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So my love and my heart is with all of you guys, and I'm going to be doing some work on these two later to just make sure that the world is feeling a little bit more peaceful with what is going on. So a couple of things before we get into today's video then. I'm running an extremely powerful meditation on Saturday of this week. We have 2 spaces left. I believe that's it. Now, last month we did a really beautiful ceremony. We had Blue Lotus tea and we went off on this mad journey of really, really beautifully aligning the energy centers and then creating mysticism and magic under the solstice energies. This time around, we're going to be activating self-love. You are going to be getting a heart activation. Now, as much as obviously the people in the room are going to get the really, really, really intense journey, there will be people all around the world that get the benefits of this. So please, even if you're not coming, just keep your heart open. But if you do fancy a little bit more of an intense journey, then please do come along. I'm not too sure if I'm going to take that tea with me this time, Guy. It might be another tea that I've got. But it's going to be very much, the room is going to be full of love. There is going to be massive heart activation. So that is on Saturday, the 19th of July. And it is just outside of Bournemouth in Dorset, the United Kingdom. Lizzie is just posting the meditation event link on YouTube event if you want to join that. If there's anybody on Facebook that would like to join it, just drop a comment on this and then I will come back to you later on. The next event that I'm going to talk to you guys about is the 31st of August. I'm doing an event called Shattering the Illusion. It is going to be an absolute game changer if you are stuck in the matrix. And I'm not talking the matrix of Donald Trump or bloody Biden, by the way. I'm not talking about that matrix. I'm talking about the literal matrix in which we live, the matrix in which we sabotage ourselves. We don't think we're good enough. We don't have the worth within ourselves to actually, love ourselves enough to move forwards. We're going to be looking at the individual self. We're going to be looking at the world, and we're going to be looking at technology, ladies and gents. A little bit scary doing that. It's the first time I've ever publicly, I would have publicly spoken about technology. Why am I speaking about technology? You guys know I worked in tech for 15 years working for the investment bankers on the trading floor, right? So I learned a lot about tech back then. And I always thought I would never talk about it again. I knew how to use it. I knew what it could do, blah, 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 but never thought I'd talk about it again. And then a couple of months ago, my guides said to me, Lucy, you need to add a technology arm to your to the business pillars. I was like, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. There's no way. I'm not going to be bringing technology into my business. I use technology enough. I do not need to be. And they were like, yes, you do. You need to educate people. You need to show people. You need to express how people are going to disconnect from their hearts by using technology. So I'm like, oh, fine. Okay. So we're going to be talking about technology at Shattering the Illusion. It is going to be a game changer. And I am organizing some speakers to come along and share their perspectives. So fingers crossed, I'll be able to announce at least one of them in a week's time, which will be super exciting to talk about that little collaboration that is taking place there. Also, on the 8th of September, we start Self-Love Club, the class of 2025. And I have got to say to you, this year is going to be hot, spicy and smoking. And I feel really bad using those words because of what's going on in the forest around me. However, it is going to be hot, hot, hot. We had some absolutely game-changing testimonials this year. I actually shared them. I've been nominated for a couple of awards. And I'm not going to go into any more of that, but I've been nominated for a couple more awards. And I actually shared some of the testimonials from this year. And the feedback was, oh my God, this sounds absolutely amazing. So if you want to change your whole life, Self-Love Club is the way to do it. Imagine hanging out with me for 9 months. Imagine hanging out with my coaches for 9 months. Like, you're never going to be the same person after 9 months with us. So, if any of you have been through Self-Love Club, give me a big yes in the comments, or a big heck yes if it feels better with you. Right, ladies and gents, enough about all of that stuff. I could go on and on and on and on and on about everything for such a long period of time today because I've got so many exciting things unfolding right now. But it is important that we realize right now that we are not stuck at all. We're not. We are very loyal to a story that no longer serves us. Ouch, Lucy, ouch. Anybody feeling a little bit of a sting from that? Any of you like sick and tired and you're like, oh, I'm not choosing this. This isn't my story. Actually, I am stuck because of this. Is there any of you feeling that way right now? Okay, today my goal, I'm going to do my best to share stories that can help you between business and relationships. Business and relationships are massive for me. Business is my baby. It has always been my baby. I'm very privileged. I've had the most amazing experience with business. Back in the day, obviously working on the trading floor, and then the amazing business that I have been able to create over the last, let's call it 8 years, and the rapid increase and the rapid rate in which it has got out there with absolutely no advertising to date. And this, my friends, is part of the story where I believe I've been stuck, but I have not been stuck. It's just a BS story that I'm running. So this weekend, I realized 2 things that I was holding on to. And both of those things, I was holding on to it at the detriment of progress. I was holding on to a person that, as much as they are amazing in my life and as much as they, I love spending time with them, like, it was not helping me evolve as a person. So I had to get honest with myself and be like, wow, this is something that I have to choose to step away from. The other side of this as well is exactly what I was just talking to you about, is business. I have wanted to do everything organically, everything by myself. And actually, I'm doing a massive disservice to humanity by not putting myself out there more, by not asking for help, by not getting the support that I deserve, by not doing the collaborations. And it's very interesting. Often I start doing the collaboration because I'm open to it constantly. I'm very, very open to it. And then people get kind of like taken away, and it's very interesting. It all makes sense down the line, but at the moment, at the time it happens, I'm kind of like, oh, come on again, come on, what's going on? But then it all makes sense. So I'm going to ask you to just reflect for a moment. What story are you clinging on to? Like, for me, my story is I can do this on my own. When in reality, I'm actually blocking my success and my growth by thinking that I can do it on my own. It's actually a little bit arrogant. It's actually a little bit in my ego to think that. So what story are you clinging on to? Just sit and feel into that for a moment. What is the story that you, my friends, are addicted to? Let's start off by defining what a story is, because everybody talks about stories, and I've just got 444 as I went onto that. As you guys know, 444 is my granddad's number, and so this is a big topic for you guys to acknowledge and to really feel into. I love when I get that validation. So a story is a mental narrative you create to make sense of your emotional experiences, especially painful ones or significant ones. These stories shape your reality, your identity, your beliefs, your behaviors, and how you relate yourself to the world. Just feel into that for a moment. Okay, this little story that I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough, like, does that stop me putting myself forward for things? Yes. Does it stop me speaking up? Yes. Does it stop me? Does it make me act like a bit of a brat at times? Yes. Does it make me insecure and cry? Yes. It can create an identity role with us. I'm going to trigger a few people here. Sickness and disease is a really good identity. When I was younger, my sister was a heroin addict. She told me on my 16th birthday, for those of you that have not read my book, for those of you that read my book, obviously you've heard this story before, but on my 16th birthday, my sister told me that she was a heroin and crack addict. She told me that I would be the only person to ever help her get clean. So my stories became I was the fixer. Without me, she's going to die, so I have to fix. Another one of my stories was I'm not getting any attention. And this was not a conscious story, by the way. The fixing one was absolutely conscious. This was a subconscious. I'm not getting any attention. My sister's getting attention by being sick, so maybe I should be sick. And like I say, this was not a conscious thought in the slightest, ladies and gents. So please, if you're going, I would never do that, I would never do that, just sit and think about what's going on in your life right now. It might not be the sickness thing. Now, what's fascinating is a few years after my sister was, admitted that she was a heroin and crack addict, what actually happened was I ended up getting really sick all the time tonsillitis, laryngitis, bronchitis, all sorts of different things, then digestive issues, then hormone issues. Then I was constantly in and out of hospital having operations, believe it or not. You guys probably are like, what? Bearing in mind for the last 10 years, I've been little miss healthy and I haven't even set foot in a doctor's only once in that time. So, it's quite interesting. But it is such a polar opposite. But basically what happened was I became sick because then it got me some attention. It got me those moments. Now, like I say, this was not a conscious thought. I didn't do it purposefully. But I stepped into a role of being the fixer. And then obviously all the pressure from being the fixer, the emotional trauma, the suppression of my voice made me sick. And then I realized I got attention from it. And it was only at 35 when I burnt out that I was able to free myself from this story. Let me tell you straight, burnout was horrid. So these stories are created in our early years. Now, some of you will be like, yeah, but my early years were perfect. My parents are perfect. School was perfect. Everything was perfect. Nothing happened to me. I get that. When I look back at my childhood, I think it was pretty perfect. However, there will be things that happened to you in your younger years that created trauma within you. There will be things that happen to you. There will be your mum may have said something as simple as, oh, darling, that picture's so beautiful, but imagine if you'd just done it this way, it could be even better. That's not saying it's rubbish or you're not good enough, but you may have interpreted that as I'm not good enough or I'm not creative. And then that's when the stories start. I'm going to share a story. When I was speaking just a minute ago, this was coming into my head, so I'm going to share it. When I was in my first school, so I must have been, 5, 6 maybe. My auntie, I'm throwing her under the bus here, by the way. My auntie took me and my sister to our school fete. I don't know what my parents were doing. They were obviously busy doing something, but my auntie took me and my sister to the school fete. Whilst we were at the school fete, we lost said auntie and my cousin. And my sister and I, it felt like an eternity, whether it was or not, who knows. Kids, back in the day, kids never said, oh, time's going really quickly like they do today, right? But back then, like it felt like an eternity that we were looking for my auntie and we couldn't find her. So we got in the car with 2 strangers. We got in the car with 2 strangers. Now, could that have activated a rejection or an abandonment wound within me? Could it? It's a question for you guys. Feeling like my auntie had left us, could I have felt abandoned? Could I have felt rejected? Could me and my sister absolutely sat in the same car together, experiencing the same thing, one of us taking rejection, one of us taking abandonment? Bearing in mind, I think I was 5 or 6 and she was 7 or 8. Could we both have gone through exactly the same situation and experienced exactly very, very different things? So trauma can come out of something as simple as that. I mean, getting in a car with 2 strangers probably isn't that simple. Like, let's be real. I don't think I'd want my child to be doing it. Thank God they were good people and they literally dropped us home. And I don't even know how we knew where we were going, but we got there. It can also come from a repeat situation. So, babe, I'll be there in a minute. 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 Could that create a rejection wound? Could that create a wound of I'm not being heard, I'm not being seen? So a constant repeat of, yeah, babe, I'll be there in a minute. Or when your dad gets home, like my dad was a workaholic. So he would get home and, he was too busy or he needed to eat his dinner or whatever. Whereas me and my sister wanted our needs to be met. Funny you say that, Shelley. So Shelley on Facebook has put, my sister and I had very different memories of our childhood. Same with me and my sister. We have very, very, very different memories. I think my childhood was perfect. She thinks very differently. I think she might have changed her mind now, but back in the day, she felt very, very differently about it. We also can create stories off of emotions. So let's stop and think about it for a moment. At any point in your younger years, did you see your mother or your father or somebody in your life uncontrollably crying? Did you see that? Did something tragic happen and there was uncontrollable crying? And that emotion made you then feel very on edge with people with emotions. This is how trauma comes in. Yeah, exactly, Shelley. Yeah. You know, my mum was quite sick when I was a child. My nan was very sick. So like, and loads of people died when I was younger, interestingly enough. And, you know, those emotions, witnessing just absolute shedding of tears, you know, when your parents' relationship breaks down and you witness your mum falling apart in front of you, you know, that's no judgment, but it makes you hard, it makes you tough, it makes you the fixer, right, girls? Absolutely. So emotions are raw signals. And the mind wants to make sense of them, and the mind cannot unless it's got a starting point and an end point. So what we do is we create stories. Can you hear the donkeys? I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's so loud. Literally must be outside my house just like eoring each other. So basically, I was rejected. If I was rejected, if the emotion was I was rejected, or the story was, did you hear? I love that for you guys. I love that so much. I was proper going for it, wasn't it? I love that. I'll come to you later. I promise. Busy day today. Love that. Absolutely love that. That's made my YouTube live video. So we create these stories. I was rejected, so I must be unlovable. They always leave me, so I must be too much. No one helped me, so I can't trust anybody. Do any of these start making sense to you? You know, just start thinking, oh, I wasn't heard, so I should shut my voice down. These kind of things are how we move into, I know they were agreeing with me, Linda, isn't it beautiful? Honestly, I live in the best place on the planet. And I really do have to say it. I keep saying to people that have known me like my whole life, I'm like, this is the energy portal that I have been looking for my whole life. And it was right on my doorstep the whole time. It is just absolutely phenomenal. The things that go on in this house, the things that go on outside of this house is just, I love it so much. I'm just so happy being here. And it is an absolute privilege to have it. So Shelley's saying, yes, I was abandoned by my birth dad, and there's deep wounds around that. That's great that you recognize that, Shelley. It is okay. Really interesting. So John has very vulnerably on Facebook put, I'm struggling. If I'm struggling to listen to this live tonight because I can relate, what advice would you give to my feet to turn my feelings around? Most of this is bringing up bad memories. So John, just stick with me for a bit, because I am going to show you how to break the addiction of your story. Yeah, if you just hold on there, I'm not too far away from it. Just need you to bring the way that I always work is I bring it up into consciousness. I bring it up so that you get that uncomfortable. I want to walk away. I want to close this video down. I feel a little bit sick. I feel discomfort. I'm really not ready to use it. Once it's in your consciousness, John, what we can then do is go, right, this is how we change it. Okay, but I need you to feel it for a moment. If you can ever come to one of my seminars, John, do, because it will literally be a whoosh through your system that you will feel when you are in person with me, babe. So yeah, just I know this can be really difficult. So if anybody else is feeling like John has really, really beautifully, vulnerably shared, please just hang on in there for a little bit with me, guys, please. So we need to acknowledge that these stories become patterns that you live by. The next one, walls that protect you. So John is trying to put this wall up around himself. I need to protect myself. I need to protect myself. Nope. I don't like this feeling. I need to get off of this live. They become excuses that limit you. And this is really what we need to recognize is our stories are smashing us to pieces. They are holding us back. We are like this much of the person that we should be. We should be massive. We should be like so expansive, but we're like this because of all of these things. and identities, when we recognize who we truly are, when we strip back the layers, it really hurts, doesn't it? So this becomes our pain. This becomes our limitations. This becomes our protection. This becomes what we basically embody to justify where we are and who we have been. Every time you feel the same emotion, you replay the same story. So emotions reinforce stories, my friends. They reinforce stories. So every time you feel like what John's feeling now, a little bit anxious, a little bit like, I want to run, there is an abandonment wound, I'm going to guess, within John that is going, you need to run right now because you are going to get hurt. So what's happening is he's got that emotion in his gut or wherever it's impacting him right now, and it's activating and it's activating and it's activating. And really what he wants to do is just run, switch the live off, get off, like do anything but face this. Because we are replaying the original story that has created this feeling. Somebody else could be living through this exact same life and be feeling nothing. But because I've triggered probably the abandonment wound within John, he is now going, oh my God, I'm getting that feeling again. And I know I'm going to get hurt. And you literally replay. Now, I did a post on my Instagram and my Facebook today that was about the amount of thoughts that we have in a day. This is exactly the same thing. You are literally recreating based on what you're feeling and based on the emotions, you're literally recreating constantly that feeling so that you can be living in a charged world. What happens is over time, you believe the story more than the truth. Emotions are real, but the story you attach to them is optional. It's changeable. This is what is important. Recognize the emotions that you're feeling, but then give yourself the peace of saying, is this story really what I'm going to carry forwards? So some of the examples of this could be things like, I'm always the one that gets hurt. I'm bad with money. No one ever shows up for me. It's even when the story is safe, it's painful. So over time, the story becomes safe, doesn't it? Oh yeah, I've got over that. I got over my divorce. I got over my parents splitting up. I got over that. But actually, what happens, it's very important that you recognize that once you've made the story safe, even though it's still painful, you start to learn how to live with it. And that's not what we want to do here. The brain would rather be right than be free. So whatever end of the story that we have made up as a child, our brain would much prefer that than for us at any point to be like, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go to Lucy's seminar and I'm actually going to open myself up and I'm going to let this happen. So how many of you have got a story in your mind now that you're like, oh shit, I'm running a story? Oh my God, I actually run this story quite a lot. It keeps me from having a relationship. It keeps me from being successful. It stops me getting close to people. It stops me having good friendships and loving partnerships and collaborations and things like that. Like, how many of you are feeling that right now? Excellent. Good. I'm so pleased that you guys are getting this. I'm absolutely loving that for you. This is where the addiction comes in. So you've created the story. You're living in the story. And now what happens is you start to justify your limitations. Is this right? This is just how I am. It's hard to stop doing that. I'm too old to change. Another way of knowing when you are addicted to your story is you get uncomfortable when things start improving. So John is probably turned up to here feeling really good today, and he's turned into this live and he's gone, oh my God. And he's starting to get really uncomfortable. Oh my God. And then he wants to sabotage you. That actually doesn't want to face this. How many of you, because you're addicted to your story, have sabotaged love? I have. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have sabotaged love because I was so addicted to my story. I'm going to get hurt. Everybody's a liar. You know, those were the stories that I lived with. How many of you have sabotaged your health because you're addicted to your story? How many of you have sabotaged your abundance, your financial wealth because of your story? And more often than not, it's not me. It's not me, it's them. It was their fault. They left me. They got divorced. They hurt me. They cheated on me. You recognize when you're addicted to your story because you talk more about the past than the future. Oh, stinger. Stinger. How many of you guys talk about the past constantly rather than getting excited about the future? It's a real thing. If you actually listen to people, people will tell you where they are at by what they talk about. How many of you avoid silence or stillness because the real self might speak? How many of you don't like to be on your own? How many of you are uncomfortable? If you don't have any plans, you're like, oh my God, I need to make some. How many of you, as soon as you leave somebody, you've got to go and like arrange to see the next person, that kind of thing? Very important. These are all parts of the addiction. So, who wants to know how to break the addiction, John? This is the important piece of it. You have to be willing to be super, super ready. And this is why I said we need the big girl in big boy pants today. Yeah. You have to be willing to disappoint your old identity every step of the way to break the addiction. So for today's live, I'm calling it the story detox framework. First and foremost, what story am I telling myself on repeat? So this is awareness. We must be aware of the story. So a bit like what I was saying to John a short time ago, we need to have consciousness on what we are doing for us to be able to help, for us to be able to keep stepping forwards. Okay, so that's step number one, is awareness. What story am I telling on repeat? The second step is that story actually true? And is it always true? So let's say, for example, I'm going to use one of my old favorites. All men are bastards. That was a story of mine because my dad cheated on my mum. So I made this big sweeping statement of all men are bastards. Can anybody tell me if that is always true or not? Absolutely not. There are so many incredible men on the planet. There are so many incredible men that I see and I connect with every single day. So was that story that I was absolutely living and breathing? And let's not forget, like, the whole, oh my goodness gracious me, I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man to survive, you know, like that story is utter nonsense. So first and foremost, I had to be honest with myself that I was actually saying it. I know, boys, thank you for standing up and being like, no, it's not true. I love the fact that you're all like, absolutely not. No, we're good over here. So I had to be honest with myself. Lucy, you're telling yourself this story. Then I needed to ask myself the question, is this real, or is it always true, or is it real? And the answer was no. Just because my dad did that to my mum does not mean that all men are really bad. And I've got to be honest, my dad is one of the most kind men on the planet. You know, he has taught me so much. He is so incredible. He is so generous. He is amazing, you know. So it isn't even true about him. It wasn't my story to create. That was my mum's story. My story was, okay, my parents are no longer going to be together. I don't like his behavior, but I love him. He's my dad. That was the way that my story should have been. And if I was secure in my emotions, I was only 8 when I first found out about it. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit right now. But if I was secure in my emotions at 8, which to be fair, I probably was very, I could have been very, oh yeah, that's not mine. But that's not the reality. Okay. So then the next part of the puzzle is choice. Who would I be without that story? Look at me today. That's who I would be without that story. I absolutely have all the time in the world for men. I love men, not just romantically, obviously that's my preference, but I'm talking men have such an important role to play. And I love the fact that a lot of men are stepping up and into that role right now. Yes, they've got work to do. Yes, they're looking at themselves, but they're willing to look. And that is the gold in all of it. So who would you be without your story? Feel what that's like. Recognize it. Oh, shit. Do I really need to hold on to that anymore? Or actually, am I okay being on my own? Am I okay being around men? Do all men really cheat? No. And then it's about taking action. What would the new story version of me do today? So my new story in regards to men, because I'm going to stay on that one, is all men are absolutely amazing. This is the type of man I would like in my life for this. This is what I love about men. So I'm actually really open to working with men, collaborating with men. I've just done an amazing podcast with an amazing guy called Johnny. He'll be coming on this channel soon. I love collaborating with men. I think the male-female balance of the energies is so powerful. It's probably the most powerful thing on the planet. So I absolutely love it. I rewrote my story. I don't think any men are bastards. I think men are living through the lens of their trauma. Okay, sometimes that shows up in ways that they behave, like all of us, by the way. So that's my new story. So what would the new story version of me do today? Work with men, collaborate with men, have a beautiful, healthy, loving relationship. Be open to conversing, collaborating, helping, guiding. I've helped some incredible men through my programs. Oh my goodness gracious me. I have, I think, I can't remember when it was, maybe a year ago, like a third of the room were men. A third of the room were men. Like, go on, boys. I actually had to stand there and be like, can we just give it up for the guys? Because so many men showed up. And they were ready to look at themselves. How on earth can I think that men are anything other than freaking brave? Us girls, we're a little bit better with our healing journey because we love to chat about it and we're okay to feel it. And, but the fact that the guys are showing up and being super vulnerable, like John today, and I can't take it away from him. John was like, oh my God, I want to run. Love that vulnerability. That's what we're looking for. So what would the new story version of me do today? What would you do with that different story that you've created? How would that stop you being held back from financial abundance, from the optimum health? Start to look at that, the most powerful, loving relationship that you could imagine. So I'm going to encourage you guys, off the back of this video, to go to your journals and write, what is one story that I keep telling myself that no longer feels true, but I keep repeating it anyway? What is your story? Now, ladies and gents, I would love you to show me the fire emoji if you are somebody who's gone, oh my God, I recognize the story. I recognize I need to rewrite this story, and it is time for me to outgrow that old version of me and catapult forwards. Drop a fire emoji for me if you have gone, oh my God, I'm tired of my own shit. And for want of better words, because obviously there's a lot of wildfires around the world right now, but I'm ready to burn it. I am ready to bish, bash, bosh, burn it. I'm not taking that forward with me anymore. Excellent, Shelley. I'm so, so, so happy for you. How are you going to rewrite your story? It's going to take courage. It's going to take you to outgrow your past self. Ladies and gents, you're not stuck. You're overdue a new story. You're overdue. So today, I'm going to encourage you all. What is your new story? What do you need to do to live it and breathe it? Please rewatch this video to get those nuggets of gold. I would really love you to take time to journal this. Especially for those of you that aren't on my programs, journal, go deep in your journal, write stuff down. And if you need any support via a one-to-one or one of my programs or anything like that, please do drop an email to support@lucydavis.com and we will be able to help you. We do give a free 15-minute breakthrough call. So if you guys would like to do some of those and you'd like some support to see how you can break through your stories, please, please, please do take some time to do that. That's absolutely fine, Linda. I love that. So Lisa's like, yes, my story of living too much in my head. Bye-bye. Excellent, Lisa. That's the kind of response that I want. It's really great. And Linda has said, I am in Lucy. I just can't find the fire emoji. Good enough for me, Linda. She gave me a thumbs up. So if you want to take some time to send me your story, please, please do feel free to do that. But ladies and gents, I'm going to leave it there for today. Now is the time that we break down the walls. Now is the time that we recognize we have created this. What stories are no longer serving you? I'm going to give you a hint. All of them. Okay, so get clear on what they are. And for those of you that are coming on the 31st of August, I cannot wait to see you, give you a big, big squeeze. We're going to go on a mad journey together. And for everybody else, I'll be back with you next Monday for Lucy Davis Live. Let me know if you have enjoyed this video by remembering to hit the thumbs up button on YouTube, smash the love heart for me on Facebook. Please share this with absolutely everybody you know who needs to hear this message today. And I will catch you guys next week. I love you guys to the moon and stars. Thanks for watching. Ciao, ciao for now.